Hello my friends and welcome back to another Brotato class guide. Hope you're all doing well. Today we're covering the Lich. I want to shout out channel viewer Vad who requested the Lich, which also incidentally sounds like the name of a Lich. You know, Necromancer Vad, so very on theme there. If there's a character that you want to see, let me know and I will add it to the list. Alright, so the Lich, I actually used to think this was one of the least fun characters to play, but I just did my practice run for before recording this video, and I had a blast. This character actually, if played right, I think is one of the most fun. So really excited to bring it to you and show you how the Lich can really start popping off. How it works is you get all the healing stats, 10 regeneration, and 10% lifesteal, but damage modifications, and that's all forms of damage, percentage damage and flat damage, are reduced by 50%. In return for this, you get a 100% chance, so every time you heal, you deal your HP in damage to a random enemy. So this is very like the Lucky, which will be randomly dealing damage across the map, or the Bull or Masochist who want to take damage. But the Lich differs from all of those characters in a couple meaningful ways. One, unlike the Masochist or the Bull, you don't want to constantly be taking damage in order to accelerate your DPS, because taking additional damage doesn't actually increase your damage output. You just need to be taking exactly enough damage that you are always missing some hit points. So managing your HP is really important to make this character work. Secondly, you need to be applying your healing in tons and tons of small instances. So rather than healing lots of HP all at once, we want to be constantly doing small healing. And finally, we're going to be needing to build some maximum HP in order to increase the damage output. Which weapon we choose, then, I think is pretty self-evident. What weapon gives us lots of healing and lots of maximum HP? It's our old friend, the slingshot. The primitive weapon tag will boost our damage output significantly, and the bounces provide tons of lifesteal across the map with our 10% native lifesteal. Slingshot is excellent on the Lich, and let's get right into it. Right away, we're going to want to walk into the enemies so that we can start applying the damage. In round one issue that we're going to have is that we are going to have materials scattered all across the map, so we're going to end up killing more stuff, but actually having fewer materials in our first shop than most characters because of how we are unable to pick up all the materials since they're scattered all over the map. This is great. We can grab some harvesting. Always love to start with harvesting when that's available. I'm going to grab a slingshot and actually lock in 2 items here. Mushroom is really good because, of course, we want to be increasing our HP regeneration, and coffee is excellent for the attack speed. We can try to build out more slingshots here, which is great. Perfect, and we're able to lock in another slingshot. We've already got our max HP up to 17, so we're doing 17 damage every time we heal for a tick. The Lich is going to suffer a little economically in the early game because at a certain point we won't be able to use our passive as well because we won't quite have the speed of healing that we need yet, and also our damage is going to suffer because we're not actually going to build any damage at all, or rather any ranged damage at all, and normally slingshots scale mostly by building flat ranged damage. I'm going to roll here. These 3 abilities are all fine, but I would really like to find some harvesting, and in the absence of harvesting, I'll just take maximum HP. Grab a slingshot, and hopefully lock in another slingshot, and that's perfect. Leveling slingshots is really nice, not because of the damage increase, but because of the bounces increase, applying additional lifesteal. On this character, we will not be building any flat-ranged damage, so our slingshots are going to pretty quickly stop dealing damage. Something to look out for is to try to run into enemy projectiles, because that will let you farm faster. It's actually sometimes pretty hard to take damage in the early waves, and something you have to watch out for as well is not accidentally standing on top of enemy spawns and stopping them from spawning, because then you can't take damage from them and also can't farm them. I'm going to re-roll this. I think we can do better, hopefully get some harvesting or max HP, and we did, and here I will just take attack speed. Attack speed is really good because that allows us to apply our lifesteal more frequently. Finishing off the slingshot, and we got the best item for this character, the Weird Ghost. This character is really fun because you get to use Weird Ghost and Sad Tomato better than every other character. Starting at low health is a really solid advantage for us because it will allow us to start ticking our passive immediately. And I'm going to grab the mushroom, I think, over the coffee just for efficient use of materials here. So starting at 1 HP, notice that every time we heal, enemy across the map somewhere takes 35 damage. Even though we have 50%, let me walk into that to make sure I don't accidentally reach full health. I like to try to stay at around 50% health where possible on this character, as that lets me still have some leeway in case I accidentally walk into something, but also still be damaged in order to be triggering my passive. Enemy projectiles are a very useful resource for this character because you can walk into them and they won't accidentally die to your passive or to your attacks before you get there, so they're a guaranteed way to take some damage. I'm going to take percentage damage here. I like attack speed and lifesteal as well, but percentage damage, even though it's at 50% viability, does increase the damage that our passive does. And I will grab some attack speed and upgrade a slingshot to have 3 bounces. We don't need to do too many upgrades to our slingshots, but having at least some level 2 slingshots helps a lot in terms of applying lifesteal very frequently. And then here, this is excellent. I'm going to grab the damage, lock this damage, and I will also lock the lifesteal because we really want to increase our lifesteal to 15 or 20% or so. I was saying earlier that this character uses stuff like Weird Ghost and Sad Tomato better than any other character because you want to be at low health. Notice that it's actually kind of difficult for me to take damage right now, so I'm not able to trigger my passive to find either groups of enemies or large, high health enemies that can survive my attacks. So these chargers can be a useful resource as well, although I managed to dodge all of them without taking any hits there. Probably should have let that ranged enemy live. Although just the slingshots killing stuff is fine. I mean, we're still just a normal slingshot build here. I'm going to take the harvesting here, I think. Just try to get that built up. And then I'm going to roll this. I think we can probably get a level 2 upgrade. We didn't, but I'll take 5% attack speed. That's fine. Continuing to upgrade some percentage damage. Lifesteal is good, and Snail is good as well. That will let me... This is less for dodging the enemies, although it does help that, but also it lets me more easily catch up to the enemies to walk into them whenever we want to do that. And I'm going to throw in a reroll here in case we can lock something. There isn't anything that we want, so let's go to wave 6. We need to build quite a lot of armor on this character so that we can take only small damage instances and then heal ourselves in small instances of healing. Have to attack that guy and then try to walk into the projectiles. There we go. Finally made it down to half health. So now my healing should be able to help me attack these enemies. Taking damage is the best way to kill loot aliens rather than trying to chase them down like a normal character would, so be aware of that. You just want to take the damage and then hope that your bounces hit the loot alien. Gentle Alien, of course, the best item on this character. Gives us max HP, which increases our damage, and also makes it easier for us to take damage. I'll take 2% lifesteal here, that's great. Here, I'm just going to roll past all this. We don't need any ranged damage because we do damage only with our passive in the late game. Let me keep rolling, and I will upgrade my slingshot by regeneration on... No, I'm not going to buy the plant. I mistook that for the other health regeneration item, but we don't want to decrease our lifesteal. And our consumable heal is at 0. I'm still going to take the alien worm here. This is one of the only characters that wants to buy it. We will also buy increased consumable healing because negative consumable healing is bad. But the alien worm lets us fill our goal of having lots of small healing instances rather than single large healing instances, as well as giving us maximum HP. So on this character, it can be worth a purchase. And then this is actually the single best item for this character, common item for this character, I think, the Cute Monkey. It decreases our range damage, which is fine, because that means we're applying our lifesteal more often by leaving enemies alive, but giving ourselves chances to heal when we pick up materials gives us an additional way to generate single small instances of healing. Grab some move speed and go on to the next wave. Another item that works really well with the Cute Monkey and just in general for this character is the... trying to take some damage there. Is the Baby Gecko, because when you have Cute Monkey, it pulls in the materials, and this character, of course, has enemies die randomly across the map all the time, so having the material draw helps a lot in terms of actually getting your material pickups during a wave. Sometimes you can struggle to actually pick up all the materials. Whoops. I tried to dodge into that projectile, but it was too fast for me. I mean, I'm just too good. And so notice that I'm just trying to stay just below our maximum healing so that we have constant, our maximum HP, so we have constant healing happening, but are never in any actual danger of dying. I'm going to grab this heart, because max HP is like the most important thing for this character, and armor will help a ton as well, so we're going to start upgrading that. Tentacle looks like an item that would be really good for this character, because it gives you healing, an additional way to heal, but unfortunately in the later game our weapons won't be killing things, and the Lich passive I don't believe can critical, so Tentacle actually doesn't do anything for this character, which is a little sad. But I'll upgrade my slingshot. Whetstone, of course, the best item for any character that wants to be building lifesteal, so we'll grab that, and we will grab some armor. Dodge is actually, unlike the Bull or the Masochist, I think this character does want to avoid building dodge, because it makes it harder for you to control the incoming damage, but 2 armor is still really worth it, so I'll take the leather vest anyways. Do I want glass cannon here? Percentage damage does affect our passive, but at a 50% rate, so basically we would be getting 5 extra damage on our passive in exchange for -3 armor, and of course that will scale throughout the game. I think we're going to pass on that, but I will lock the duck. Walk into these chargers. They're a really good way to ensure that you have taken some damage. Walk into that projectile. He died too quickly. There we go. The armored charger always has your back on this character. Another item that can be really useful for this character is the lumberjack shirt, because it can sometimes be difficult to kill trees since we do low damage, and later on in the game when we aren't clearing the whole wave as quickly, especially on elite waves when a lot of your passive damage bounces to the elite, you can sometimes struggle to actually kill the trees if too many enemies get in the way of your attacks. Try to jump into the armored chargers here. There we go. And notice that we're still generating decent money. We're clearing everything out pretty quickly. Here I am going to reroll this, hoping for a level 2 upgrade, which we got. I'm just going to take maximum HP. Attack speed is also really good, but max HP powers our whole gimmick, so very important to grab that. Keep upgrading the slingshot. Grab some luck, because generating consumables is really nice. That's additional ways to heal. And keep rolling. Do I want a peaceful bee at this point for harvesting? I think it's still okay to buy that. That will get our harvesting ticking by 2 per round, because it'll be over 20. And I'm going to lock in this terrified onion as well, because speed will be really valuable. This is a funny Lich build because we're actually clearing things before my passive is triggering. Normally on this character, I feel like the slingshots are not as efficient at actually killing stuff. And I haven't built any damage, so I'm not certain why we're clearing so quickly, just with our weapon attacks. All the Material pickup, of course, is helping with our healing. The more cute monkeys you get on this character, the faster you wave clear. Continue to walk into these enemies and just take a little bit of damage. There we go, and I'm going to recycle the hedgehog and recycle the turret. We don't need any of that stuff. Do I want 10 harvesting at this point? I think I'm just going to pass on the harvesting and just keep building max HP. And then here I will build a little more speed. Now that our speed is up a little higher, that will help a lot. All right, this is an excellent find, the fairy. Even though we don't have a lot of unique tier 1 items, it still boosts our health regeneration a ton. And health regeneration is in instances of 1 HP, so it's perfect for this character. So definitely grabbing that. And I will still take the attack speed of the small magazine. No, I think I won't actually, because it also decreases our percentage damage. So while I do want attack speed, I don't think it's worth spending 100 on it here. Definitely don't buy handcuffs and cap my max HP, but I will buy the armor from the helmet. And lure is really good. Alien Baby. I haven't had the opportunity to buy that on this character yet, but I think it actually might be good. We have the snail already, so it will only be a 3% increase to enemy speed. And 15 max HP is a lot. I normally say on almost every character you should never buy this item, but I think for this character, and because we have Snail already, this is actually going to work out well for us. And of course I'll buy some additional luck, generate more consumables. Since our damage scales so heavily with maximum HP. Trying to walk into these guys here. Oh, that one died too early. There we go. What I like to do most of the time is take a bunch of damage near the beginning of the round whenever possible, and then just spend the rest of the round playing normally, but healing over time. And then that's both the safest and most efficient way to generate a lot of healing on this character, I think. Oh, a third loot alien. I don't know if we're going to quite have the damage to get it. Oh, okay, nice, we got him. Slingshots are, I think, the best item on this character or the best starting weapon on this character by far, but this is actually one of the characters that has a lot of options for weapons that you can switch to. I will try to talk about those either as they come up, or if we get to the end without seeing any. Obviously take Dangerous Bunny as well. I'm going to re-roll this at this point. 8 harvesting I don't think is particularly good, but I'll just take 8% damage here, just to continue to increase the damage of our passive. Alright, here it goes. I think this is probably the first Alien Baby I've ever bought on YouTube, so that's an exciting milestone, I suppose. Alien Eyes is very good, both because it scales off of your maximum HP, and also because it allows you to apply lifesteal additionally. So definitely buying that, and even though we do want max HP, I'm still just going to keep buying armor. Armor is so important on this character to make sure that you can have manageable incoming damage. I will lock this, buy this, and lock this. Even though that decreases our HP regeneration, luck is really, really good. Hordes, I think, are generally not going to be as good for this character as for many characters, because you are going to have a hard time clearing lots of little enemies, and it can also be hard to take the sort of amounts of damage that you want. Just walking into all those projectiles to make sure I am sitting at about like 2/3 HP. I think 2/3 to somewhere between 2/3 and 50% HP at all times is a good rule of thumb for where you want to be on this character. Something that would be really nice to get is a form of piercing, because that would allow our slingshots to basically double the amount of lifesteal that they are producing. Also, something to bear in mind when you have Cute Monkey for this character is that as a lot of materials stack up on the ground, they stack in value. They increase in value. So you want to pick up materials as they drop rather than letting them combine into larger materials so that you get additional chances at healing. I'm just going to recycle this because the ranged damage we don't really need at all, and I don't want to lose speed. And here I'll take some attack speed because attack speed is excellent. Upgrade all my slingshots for additional bounces. In fact, we're just going to buy out this whole shop. And then we get a bunch of rerolls. Keep upgrading the slingshots. Pocket Factory, unfortunately, doesn't do anything for this character because the turrets don't provide any additional bonuses for us. I will lock the slingshot for extra bounces. The medical turret can provide some additional healing instances, but I think it's not worth locking for this character because it doesn't heal that often. So while it's good, it's some good healing. What we really want is things that heal small amounts frequently more than large amounts infrequently. And 3 isn't an enormous amount, but it's a larger amount than most healing provides. I'd rather have sort of controllable healing based on consumables, if we get consumable healing increases, than the medical turret, which might heal us when we don't actually want a healing instance of 3. Because we want to heal in a lot of 1 healing instances to trigger our passive as often as possible. Your passive is not limited. It can trigger as many times as you can heal, so it's important to do that as much as possible. Something that you may not know about the game is that lifesteal is limited to 10 per second, which we are unlikely to reach, but does cap the amount of healing that lifesteal can provide, and thus the amount of damage it can do for us on this character. Really wishing I had a baby gecko here. Sharp Bullet is excellent. That's going to basically double our incoming lifesteal healing. And I will actually just pick up some more percentage damage here. I don't think we need to go up to 25% speed. Let's grab Slingshot. I will take the Injection and the Cyclops Worm and keep rolling. Stone Skin, excellent. That's going to boost our max HP by a lot. And of course we want to be buying armor anyways. And sure, we'll keep upgrading some slingshots. Shady Potion. And we're really getting the slingshot upgrades this run, which is fine. You definitely don't need to upgrade your slingshots this much, and it's possible that I should have just stopped once we hit all level 2 slingshots, but who am I to turn down a level 4 slingshot? So we're sitting at about 2/3 HP, so I back off from taking damage a little bit. Then I find some projectiles and walk into them. Also, in between enemies spawning, you want to maybe like not pick up consumables and stuff, and if you have Cute Monkey materials. Got a little low there, but that's okay. We'll just back off and heal up. Landmines don't do anything, so we're going to recycle those, and I'll take max HP here. Schmoop is excellent for this character. In fact, we want all of these items again, so let's buy this and this. And I'm going to buy the Schmoop over buying the upgraded Slingshot. Adrenaline does give us an alternate way to heal, but I actually, again, still don't want to increase my dodge, so I think I'll pass on that, but lock these others and go on to wave 14. Usually on this character, you won't kill elites, at least not the first elites that you face, because it can be hard to have sort of the balance of taking the right amount of damage and having the right amount of damage output. Our current build is pretty good, so we might have a chance of killing this guy. But once it starts summoning, because this is a summoner, it's going to have a lot of enemies that our damage instances can bounce to, which will make it harder for us to target it with our passive. So I don't think we're going to take this one out. A different elite we might have had a chance of taking out. One nice thing about it being a summoner, though, is that our slingshots will always be applying lifesteal, because there's always going to be something for them to bounce to. Taking actually a little bit of damage here, so I do need to be careful not to die right before the end of the wave. And notice that I left a lot of materials on the ground as a result of that. I'm going to grab this armor, because that's also max HP, and we will pick this up. Slingshot, bat, and slingshot. Roll. Yep, I'll keep buying lifesteal. Lock this slingshot and roll. And roll again, because we have so many free rerolls. Max HP, still really good, even though it does decrease our attack speed. One of the best ways to kill an elite is to find one of the weapons I was talking about, which is the flamethrower. Flamethrower attacks so frequently that it applies lifesteal constantly, and so it's actually the best way to rapidly trigger your passive. Obviously, just like the bull, or the masochist, items like blood donation or bloody hand that deal damage to you are really valuable on this character, and in fact, even more so, the scythe is really good on this character. Even more so than it is on Masochist or Bull, because taking 3 damage is actually better for you than taking 1 damage, since that's 3 triggers of your passive. I actually want to find stuff that decreases my dodge here, because 10% dodge is actually kind of messing up what we're trying to do sometimes. Gentle Alien is excellent, and I'm going to reroll this because we can do better, I think. 4 HP regeneration, sure, I'll take that. Getting up to about 50, I think, is where we want to be. Buy some max HP, and we will combine, buy a slingshot, roll. Nothing here that I want, I don't think. Baby Elephant is kind of interesting sometimes for this character, but your percentage damage is always going to be low, so I'd usually just pass on that. Upgrade my slingshot, of course, for additional bounces. Keep rolling. Ugly Tooth will be good, especially because we do have Alien Baby. And I'm going to roll again. Keep upgrading the slingshots. Leather Vest is especially good when we have Stone Skin, because it basically removes the downside of that item. And Alien Magic will be great, Wings will be great, and sure, I'll keep upgrading my slingshots. Again, I don't think you need to upgrade your slingshots all the way to level 4, but it does help you apply lifesteal. It might, I haven't done the math in terms of cost, but it might be more efficient to be just buying more lifesteal rather than getting the additional projectile. Notice that we take a little damage, and then we basically instantly heal back to full. Just because every time our slingshots and alien eyes volley out, they lifesteal a ton, and we gain HP both just over time and every time we step on materials. Trying to walk into those guys, but my dodge is actually a little too high for where I want it, so I'm having trouble getting myself down to about half health, which is what I was hoping to do. The buffing aliens are very annoying because they make enemies take additional damage, which makes them require additional ticks of your passive to kill, and it's hard for this character to hunt them down specifically since your damage is mostly dealt randomly. I'm at 28% lifesteal. I think I'm going to take HP regeneration over lifesteal, because I think that's going to help apply healing instances more often. We'll buy Alien Magic for sure, and I guess I'll buy the slingshot, keep the wings locked, and roll. We don't need, even though we have piercing damage, we don't need pumpkin because we're just not doing damage. The piercing damage is only for the slingshot, only for the lifesteal. Torture is the worst item you could possibly buy for this character because it will reduce your instances to a single tick per second. I will lock the bait though, both because bait gives us a little percentage damage and thus increases the damage of our passive, and also because it's a good way to get to take some damage at the beginning of next round so that we can start off the round at low health. Would have loved to find Sad Tomato. That would be one of the best things that we could find. Of course, Bloody Hand at this point would be excellent, and is now kind of on the table. Flamethrowers or miniguns, chain guns, etc. would help a lot with the possibility of killing elites. You can build this character in a couple different ways as well, of course. You can use scissors or other medical weapons, but I tend to think that the slingshot build is just going to be the best because max HP is where your damage comes from. I'll take the power generator. It's going to increase my damage by a very small amount, but it's still worth it. And I mean, we do buy speed, so that will increase our damage overall. Let me buy, and it also makes this wings that we have locked even better, because that's 5% damage as well. Let me buy this bait, and Thunder Sword is kind of interesting for this character as well. So it will spawn 2 projectiles, so that is not as many as a slingshot, so I don't think the Thunder Sword is going to give us more lifesteal. But if we hit multiple enemies with it, of course, it spawns additional projectiles, and they all bounce. That's very interesting. I'm going to think about that one. Let me... No, I think we'll pass on the Thunder Sword, because it also does decrease my max HP. If I had found a Flamethrower, which I hope I haven't rolled past a Flamethrower without noticing, then definitely we would take that. Obviously, Triangle of Power is not an item to buy on this character, even though the penalty is halved, because our damage modifications are halved. It's still... we need to take damage in order to deal damage. Let's go to wave 18 and see if there's a chance we can kill this elite. So I'm just going to walk right into it, take some damage right off the start. Try to keep myself at about 50% health. We're hitting it for 167 every time we take some healing. So I don't think we're quite going to have the damage for it this time around. We're getting close. I'm a little lower than I'd like. Managing your HP is, of course, of paramount importance on this character. You don't want to get too low, but it's, I think, a little easier than with Masochist or Bull, because unlike those characters, you don't want to just be taking as much damage as possible. You just want to have damage dealt to you. Man, that thing lived at like 1% HP. That's so unfortunate. Oh well. If we'd had that Gentle Alien, we'd have gotten it. Let me re-roll this, because we can get some more... some higher level upgrades. I'll definitely take that. More trees, sure. More luck, also probably good. I think given that we are going into the final wave, this would also decrease my max HP though, so I think I will still pass on the glass cannon. I'm just going to take the tree and roll past the rest of this stuff. Hey, there's a blood donation. That's really good. Less good than it would have been earlier, both obviously because the harvesting is less useful now, and also because a single tick is less valuable at this point than it would have been before, but still pretty good. If I buy this slingshot, this one attacks twice, and the level 4s attack 5 times, so that's 7 total attacks, but the level 3s attack 4 times. So at this point in the game, since I'm unlikely to upgrade the slingshots much more, this would give me 1 fewer total bounces than not upgrading the slingshot, so we're going to pass on the level 1 slingshot here. And I'll keep passing on glass cannon, and I'll just go into the next wave. So definitely would have been able to kill that elite if I had had a flamethrower just to lifesteal more frequently, or if we had just a little bit more damage, obviously. But this character is mostly just about lifestealing through the elite waves. You don't need to kill elites for this character. That said, if we do find a rapid attacking weapon so we can kill the bosses, that would be really nice. Another item that would be really good for us would be Sift's Relic, because it could help pull in all of the materials, each of which gives us an 8% chance of gaining a health. I'm going to reroll this. Level 1 max HP is fine, but I think we can do better. Yeah, I'm going to reroll that again. Alright, well, didn't work out, so just taking the level 1 max HP. Let's roll past all this stuff. Roll past all this stuff. Take HP and damage, and keep rolling. The level 3 slingshot does just get us +1 bounces. Is that worth it at this point? It probably is. I don't know that we're going to find that much that's useful going into the last wave. And here we can grab pickup range is actually not terrible. Crit chance and dodge is not great for this character, and of course we don't want to decrease our lifesteal for the banner, so I'll just take the alien tongue, and that's it. Reroll just to see if we get something fun here. Blood Leech is another item that's very worth mentioning for this character, because it gives you both stats that you want, and you just want to buy max HP and healing. Alright, let's go to the next wave and see if we can kill these bosses. So I'm going to run into them and take some damage right off the bat. One other reason that flamethrower or minigun, chain gun, etc. are really good, even drill, is that they apply as much lifesteal as the slingshots do, but don't require the field to be full of enemies, so you can lifesteal off just the bosses if you need to. And when there's few enemies on the field, your damage is applied always to the enemy that you want, whereas of course if the field is full of enemies, then the random damage has a very strong chance of bouncing somewhere that you don't care about, dealing damage. Alright, getting them low, taking some damage here, just making sure that I don't die. And that's 1 down and 2 down. Alright, so that's the Lich, which I think is kind of a misunderstood character. I think that you really just want to build only healing, only max HP, and just use slingshots for lifesteal, and that will carry you through with this character. As always, I hope that you have enjoyed this video, my friends, and if you have, do feel free to leave a comment, hit like on the video. Both of those things help a ton with the algorithm, and of course you can subscribe to my channel for more of this and other strategy game content. We're getting to the end of the Brotato class guides, so at least for vanilla, so let me know what you'd like to see after that. I've definitely gotten some requests for various challenge runs, like random class, random weapon runs, modded content, and all of those things are on the table, but I'm very interested what people want to see next after we have finished the last few classes that I have to go. Didn't necessarily expect to get through every single Brotato class when I started this project, but the response has been really good, so thanks, as always, my friends, for watching, and I'll catch you next time. GG.